All right, so most people think that weight loss is super difficult, but I've lost 50 kilos. And I'm just going to leave that in there. I've also helped 30 other people over the last year lose weight, get fit, get healthy, become the best version of themselves, and do it without skipping meals out or running themselves in the ground in the gym or zapping all their mental energy. Because I get it. We've got life to live, we've got people to see, we've got things to do, we've got work to do. And so weight loss can't be the only focus of our life. And in this video, I want to share with you 3 strategies on how you can make it super easy for yourself so that you can sustain the actions that you need to take in order to continue to lose weight and eventually achieve the body of your dreams. Stick around for strategy number 3 because that's probably the most overlooked one, but also the most powerful. But before we get into it, I do need to share with you a concept called brain points. It's something that I've actually just stolen from a guy called Hamza, but I think it really does apply to weight loss massively. If you can understand this concept, then achieving your goals, not only in weight loss, but just in life, are going to be way, way easier. And it's the idea that at the beginning of the day, you start the day with maybe 200 brain points. Every activity that you undertake consumes some of these brain points until you have no brain points left. And at the end of the day, you don't really want to do anything. And then you eventually go to sleep to replenish these brain points. So you wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth. Okay, that takes 2 brain points. You get dressed, another 2 brain points. You go to the gym. Now, because the gym is an effortful activity, you have to lift weights, you have to go through some pain and discomfort whilst you're in the session. It consumes 30 brain points. And then you have to go and cook a healthy meal, so that consumes 40 brain points. And then you have to go to work, which then consumes 60, 70 brain points because you've got demand from your boss and you're getting asked to do shit that maybe you don't think is meaningful. And so by the end of the day, as I said before, the brain points go down and down. And throughout the day, as you go do your activities, the brain points reduce. And so when an activity pops up at the end of the day, which consumes 50 brain points and you've got none left, you end up sacking it off. And so what we can understand from this concept is that the things and the actions that you need to take in order to lose weight do require a number of brain points. Okay? And more brain points if you weren't losing weight, because you have to cook that healthy meal. You have to avoid the takeaway. You have to go and do your workouts. You have to go and do your steps. And all of these require brain points. And so in order to make weight loss easier, we can just deduce the fact that we either need to make weight loss require fewer brain points. Okay, so the activities of going to the gym, the activities of going to do your steps, the activities of cooking a healthy meal are not requiring as many brain points, so it is easier. The other option is that you conserve more brain points for weight loss. So you waste fewer brain points on shit that doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm going to share 2 strategies in the first bucket of making weight loss require fewer brain points. And then I'm going to share 1 strategy on how you can conserve more brain points for weight loss. So number 1 is doing the same things over and over again. So recently I've been doing a challenge called 75 Hard. And in this challenge, you have to do 2 workouts per day. You have to eat clean meals, so no unhealthy meals. You have to follow a specific diet. So for me, I'm trying to lean down a little bit. So I'm sticking to around 2,000 to 2,200 calories. I'm doing 8,000 steps per day, reading 10 pages, and drinking a gallon of water, okay? And so it's quite demanding because I'm doing that alongside my work, I'm doing that alongside managing my clients, creating content, like all of these different things, socializing a little bit. And so if I were to, and so it is requiring a lot of brain points from me because I have to show up every single day at the gym, I have to show up and do my workouts, I have to show up and eat clean all the time. And sometimes I just don't want to work out. But the thing that is making it easy for me and the thing that is making it require fewer brain points is just doing the same thing over and over again. Let me explain. So in your brain, you have 2 systems. You have system 1 and you have system 2. System 1 is the automatic unconscious part of your brain, and system 2 is the logical conscious part of your brain. Now, whenever you're making a decision or you're taking an action, you're either using system 1 or system 2. So think about when you first started driving a car. When you first drive a manual, that's if you learn manual and you're not a pussy. But you have to put the clutch down, you have to change the gears, you have to drive around, figure out how to turn on the engine. And at the beginning, that requires a lot of mental energy. It's very conscious. But eventually, once you get a bit of practice in, a few lessons, you eventually get to the point where you can do it pretty unconsciously and Some people will drive to work every single day, and I've driven to the gym every single day, and sometimes I'll get to the gym and I'll be like, bloody hell, mate, how did you drive there? Because my mind is somewhere else, because I'm driving in this kind of subconscious, unconscious way. And so what once required a lot of brain points doesn't anymore. And the way that you can apply this to your life is by doing the same thing over and over again every single day. So wake up at the same time, go to the same gym, do the same workout, eat the same food. And so when you do that, when you apply this methodology to your life, you're basically taking your whole life and moving it to system 1, the automatic way of life. And so with me, and I'm doing 75 hard right now, I have to do 2 workouts a day, as I said. I'll wake up at the same time, get to the gym at the exact same time. I'll do the exact same workout, 5 minutes on the rower, 2.5 minutes on the bike, 5 minutes on the ski erg, and 2.5 minutes on the assault bike. And I'll do that 3 times, which would allow me to hit 45 minutes. I'll then go to the exact same locker, put my stuff away, change into my swim shorts, go to the ice bath, do my ice bath, then go to the sauna. Then once I've finished at the sauna, I'll head to the co-working space. I'll dry up first, then I'll go to the co-working space. And I've kept that routine exactly the same every single day, so that all my mental energy is then saved for the work that I need to do. Because imagine if I was going to a different gym every single day and doing different things every single day. What would happen then? I would consume all my mental energy thinking about, oh, where's the locker? Where's this machine that I want to use? Where's this I want to use? And so when people eat different foods every single day and they're on a weight loss journey, or they cook different foods and they come up with different meal plans, or they do different workouts every single day, they're consuming so much mental energy just by trying to change what they're doing that eventually it just becomes unsustainable, because they still have to go to work. They still have to do all the normal shit that people need to do with their life. And so they end up burning out. And then because of that, they fall off the bandwagon and they don't achieve their weight loss goals. When in reality, what you can do is just keep your weight loss, everything the same, conserve your mental energy, make it an automatic thing where you're not really thinking about it because you've done the same thing over and over again. It becomes this habit. You're engaging the system 1 in your brain. And then because of that, your conscious energy is actually saved for the things that matter, and weight loss just happens as a byproduct of your habits. This is the exact same reason why Mark Zuckerberg, Stephen Bartlett, Alex Hormozi, Steve Jobs, all of these guys wear the exact same clothes every single day, because they don't want to expend excess mental energy on things that don't really matter to them. And their fashion choices is not something they want to expend mental energy on. So they just wear the same clothes every single day that look relatively good on them, and then they just wear that and they don't have to think about it. And so all of their mental energy is conserved for the things that matter, and they're saving all their brain points for the things that matter. And I want you to apply the exact same methodology for your weight loss goals, where you keep the meals the same, you keep the workouts the same, you keep where you walk exactly the same, and you're building this ecosystem of habits that you don't really think about, that allow you to achieve weight loss and not use your brain points on it, so it makes it sustainable and it makes it easy. I do want to say that this is a spectrum, and so you don't have to, for me at the moment, I'm not eating the exact same food every single day. I eat the same restaurant, but I switch it up. The restaurant is actually really good, where you can just tick a few boxes and they give you the macros, and so it doesn't feel effortful to choose what I eat. But if I wanted to take it one step further, I would literally just eat the exact same food every single mealtime, so I don't even need to think about it, and it would just be set. And so you can just land somewhere on the spectrum, but just know that on one end of the spectrum, it's just literally changing everything up. On the other end, is keeping everything the same. And the more that you keep everything the same, the fewer the brain points it's going to require to do the actions that you need to take in order to lose weight. And because of that, it's going to make weight loss easier. Simple. The second method is an idea that I read about from a book called by Ali Abdaal. The book is called Feel Good Productivity, and his philosophy is that productivity is a byproduct of feeling good and being positive. And he shares countless studies in the book where it's proven that employees that feel good end up performing better. Students that are given sweets in classrooms have better engagement because they're more motivated and they're feeling good about it. And so when you're thinking about your weight loss, to make it easier for yourself, we have to find a way to make it feel good. Because some of the things that you need to do, especially if you live in a country like England, you have to go for a walk when it's cold or when it's raining a little bit. You have to go to the gym before work in the morning, and you have to wake up early. Not that fun. You might have to skip on dessert when you're out for a meal. Not that fun. But if you ask yourself this simple question, and all of these things require brain points, right? Going back to that fundamental concept of everything that we're saying here is that these activities are effortful and they require brain points. But what we're saying here is that if we can make these activities fun and something that we look forward to, then they're going to require less brain points. So how can you make skipping on the dessert more fun? How can you make getting your steps in more fun? So something that I used to do when I was in the UK was that I would sing while I was walking, especially when it was raining. These little Indian songs that, to be honest, was a bit weird. I would just walk on the street and hum to myself. I think my dad does the same as well. But it just made it fun for me. Or I would go and stop at Tesco petrol station and get like a little chicken treat. I'm vegetarian at home, so that felt like a little treat for me. Or when I was training for a photo shoot in December 2023, I would go to the gym and I'd get an energy drink in the morning. And I was going to the gym for 4 hours a day just because I was doing so much cardio, I was doing so much activity. That's a story for another day. But all of these little things made it more fun, and so it required fewer brain points for me to actually go to the gym and do the things that I needed to do in order to lose weight. So that's how we can actually just stretch our brain points as far as possible, because we're making the activities that we need to do in order to lose weight either easier because we're doing the same thing, so it becomes part of our habitual brain, or we make them more fun, so we actually just look forward to it, so it doesn't require as many brain points to get up and do the things. But the second point, and the other side of the same coin, is the idea that we can conserve more brain points for weight loss if we're strategic. So at the moment, you might wake up in the morning and you might just check your phone. Wake up, out of bed, have a look at Instagram, see what everyone's been doing last night on their stories, maybe like a few posts. Then you go onto email and you check emails and some notification comes in. I did this exact same thing the other day where I went on my phone, I checked my messages, and there's a client that I'm working with. She's a teacher and she's just moved flat, and she's also saving up for a wedding, and I've been helping her lose weight. She's had really great progress recently. But then in the message she said, look, I'm really struggling financially. I don't think I'm going to be able to continue. And I read that before I'd done any of my work. And so it just consumed all these brain points, because I was like, oh, bloody hell, like I lost a client. Such a shame. Whereas if I just went straight to work, all those brain points I could have put into the work or the workout or whatever, or into weight loss. And so the point here is that be strategic with your brain points and don't spend them on shit that doesn't matter, especially early on the day before you haven't done the things that you need to do in order to lose weight. So if in the morning you know that you need to go for a walk, you need to do your workout, you need to cook a healthy meal, and then you need to work, then don't check your phone before you've done all those things. Nothing is that urgent. And it's just going to consume your energy, it's going to consume your brain points, and then you're less likely to allocate the remainder of your brain points to losing weight, and then you're not going to hit your goal. Another example of this for me is that sometimes in the morning, I'll check YouTube analytics because I want to check how my YouTube video performed. I'm still in that like nerdy phase, or that beginning phase where I like checking it and it gives me a little bit of dopamine hit. But the problem is that this also consumes brain points. When these consume your brain points, right, you just can't allocate them. They're just gone. They're used. It's like currency. It's like money. And so the point here is to conserve your brain points by not checking your phone before you've done the activities that you need to do in order to achieve your weight loss goal, or to be honest, any other goal in your life. And in practice, there are actually 3 things that you can do in order to conserve your brain points in the morning before you've done the activities that are going to allow you to move forward in your life, okay? So number 1, you're going to put your phone on grayscale. This was actually recommended to me by a friend that I met recently, and he was like, yeah, I just put my phone on grayscale in the morning and it just makes it way less addictive and less attention grabbing. And I was like, oh, fair, like, I'll try it. And honestly, it's such a game changer that most of the day now that I just stay on grayscale, because it just makes me way less likely to just sit on my phone and get sucked into the algorithm. Because you got to think about it, there are data scientists out there that are literally working and being paid to steal your attention and hold your attention, because people want you on the apps, because the more people are on the apps, the more advertising revenue that these companies make, and that's good for shareholders and whatnot. You've got to think, I've got to put up some real forces against these data scientists so I don't get sucked into the phone, because they're going to consume your brain points. They're going to eat them up and you're going to not be able to achieve your goals as a result. That's step 1. Step 2, don't look at messages before and after a certain time. So in the morning, first 4 hours, don't look at messages. Last 2 hours, 3 hours of the day, don't look at messages. Nothing's ever that urgent. Like, you might get a bad email or a bad message telling you to do something, and then you start thinking about it, and then you put off the things that you need to do in order to achieve your weight loss goals. So, not necessary. Just stay away from the phone, get what you need to get done, and then move on afterwards. And then finally, turn off all notifications. And I think this is an absolute game changer, because every time that your phone buzzes, every time that your phone vibrates, when you're doing your workout, when you're in the gym, when you're doing your steps, when you're working, it's just an interruption into your day that grabs your attention and consumes some brain points. And remember, the aim of the game is to conserve as many brain points as possible for the things that are going to move your life forward, whether that's weight loss, business, career, relationships, whatever it is. You want to conserve as many brain points as possible. And every time that your phone buzzes, it's just consuming 1 or 2 brain points. So in summary, if you want to lose weight and you want to make it easy, then there are 2 things that you want to do. These 2 things stem from the idea that we only have a limited number of brain points that can be allocated towards activities that are hard. And so we want to make the brain points go further by making things as easy as possible for ourselves, by doing the same thing all the time, making those things really fun so they require fewer brain points, and then cutting out the shit like the phones or other stuff that consumes brain points that are not serving us. If you like that video, then check out my other video where I share 4 lessons from losing over 50 kilos. And remember, become the person that you want to be. Peace.